Most operating systems today are measured in gigabytes. They expect plenty of storage, lots of memory, and fairly modern hardware just to get started. Tiny Core Linux takes the opposite approach. In a world where software keeps getting bigger, this distribution proves just how much can be accomplished with almost nothing. At around 20 megabytes, it includes a Linux kernel, a graphical desktop, and the tools needed to build a fully functional system. Even more impressive, it can breathe new life into computers that many people would consider museum pieces. So, how much can an operating system this small actually do? Let's take a closer look at Tiny Core Linux and see whether minimalism still has a place in 2026. When you go to the downloads page, the project offers three distinct flavors. You have Core, this is the absolute minimum. It is around 17 megabytes. It has no graphical desktop. You just get a command line. It's mainly intended for advanced users, embedded devices, and custom projects. Then there is the Tiny Core. This version adds a lightweight graphical desktop using FLWM Fastlight Window Manager. It's roughly 23 megabytes. So you get a basic desktop, terminal, file manager, and enough tools to start building your own system. And as you can see, it says it is the recommended option for new users who have a wired network connection. Core Plus, the heavyweight of the family. This is the version most people should download. It includes additional wireless drivers, multiple window managers, keyboard layouts, installer utilities, better hardware support. It makes the installation process much easier, especially for beginners. Let's start with Tiny Core, the 23 megabyte edition that's recommended for users with a wired internet connection. When you boot the Tiny Core edition, this is the first screen you'll see. It presents a few different boot options, but for most users, simply selecting Boot Tiny Core or pressing Enter is all that's needed to get started. The other options are mainly there for specific situations, such as older hardware, serial consoles, or booting into a command line only environment. Once Tiny Core finishes booting, this is the desktop you're greeted with. And to be honest, there's not much here. And that's exactly the point. At the bottom of the screen is a small launcher panel that gives you quick access to the essentials. From left to right, you'll find the exit button, a text editor, the apps browser where you install software, a run program launcher, the mount tool for managing storage devices, and a terminal. That's pretty much it. It's an extremely minimalist environment, but what really makes Tiny Core different isn't just its appearance, it's how it actually runs. Unlike most Linux distributions, Tiny Core loads the entire operating system into your computer's RAM during startup. The kernel, the desktop environment, and the core utilities are all uncompressed into memory. Once the boot process is complete, the operating system no longer depends on the USB drive or CD it was started from. In fact, you can safely remove the boot media after Tiny Core has finished loading, and the system will continue running normally because everything it needs is already in memory. If you pull out the USB drive while running Linux Mint or Fedora, the system will freeze or crash the moment you try to open a new program or perform an action that requires reading from the disk. Running entirely from RAM also makes the system feel incredibly responsive, since RAM is much faster than reading data from a USB flash drive or hard disk. Because the operating system is running from memory, any changes you make during your session are temporary by default. If you accidentally install something you don't want, change a configuration, or even encounter malware, those changes disappear the next time you reboot, unless you deliberately save them using Tiny Core's persistence feature. This is one of the features that makes Tiny Core unique and one of the reasons it performs so well on older hardware. One thing you'll notice on the Tiny Core edition is that there's no installer icon on the desktop. That's because this version is designed to be as small as possible, so the installer isn't included by default. If you want to install Tiny Core to your hard drive, you'll first need to install the installer itself. To do that, open the apps browser and search for the installer. Now let's switch over to Core Plus, which is the more feature complete edition of Tiny Core Linux. The first thing you'll notice is that the boot menu is much larger than the one we saw in Tiny Core. That's because Core Plus includes a lot more functionality right from the start. Instead of offering just a few boot options, Core Plus lets you choose between several different window managers, including FLWM, Joe's Window Manager, Fluxbox, Hackedbox, and OpenBox. There are also special boot options that load the installer, add Wi-Fi support, include additional firmware, or even boot into a command line only environment if that's what you need. So, what's the difference between TinyCore and Core Plus? TinyCore is designed to be as small as possible. It assumes you have a wired internet connection and that you're happy downloading additional software after booting. That's why it doesn't include the installer, extra drivers, or multiple desktop environments. Core Plus, on the other hand, is aimed at users who want a smoother, out of the box experience. It comes with the installation tools already included, supports more wireless hardware, includes extra firmware, multiple keyboard layouts, and gives you several window managers to choose from without downloading anything first. The trade-off is size. While TinyCore is only around 23 megabytes, Core Plus is considerably larger because it bundles all of these extras. Even so, compared to most Linux distributions that measure their installation images in gigabytes, Core Plus is still incredibly lightweight. If you're simply trying out TinyCore in a virtual machine or you have a reliable wired network connection, TinyCore is usually all you need. But if you're installing the system on real hardware, especially a laptop with Wi-Fi, or you just want the installer and additional drivers available immediately, Core Plus is definitely the better choice. As you can see, Core Plus already includes things that were missing from the TinyCore edition. The installer icon is right here on the panel, so there's no need to download the installation tools first. You'll also notice the Wi-Fi utility, making it much easier to connect to a wireless network on supported hardware. These are just a couple of the extras that make Core Plus a better choice if you're planning to install TinyCore Linux on a real machine rather than just trying it out in a virtual machine. Let's go ahead and install TinyCore Linux to the hard drive and see how the installation process works. Clicking the installer opens a very simple installation wizard. It is actually quite straightforward once you know what each option does. The first thing you'll need to decide is the installation type. By default, Frugal is selected, and this is the option recommended for almost everyone. A Frugal installation copies the core TinyCore files to your drive, while keeping the system lightweight and making upgrades and backups much easier. You can also choose whole disk if you want TinyCore to take over an entire drive, or existing partition if you've already created a partition and want to install it there. There are also options for creating bootable USB installations. On the next screen, you'll choose the file system for your TinyCore installation. If you're installing on a hard drive or virtual machine, the fourth extended file system is the best choice and is recommended for most users. It's the most modern Linux file system and offers excellent performance and reliability. On this screen, TinyCore displays a list of optional boot parameters. These options let advanced users customize how the operating system starts, such as enabling persistence or changing boot behavior. If you're new to TinyCore, you don't need to change anything here. Simply leave the field at the bottom empty and click next to continue. You can always modify these boot options later if you need to. The final screen lets you choose what to include in your TinyCore installation. For most users, the default option is the right choice because it installs the graphical desktop environment. Below that, you'll see a few optional components, including Wi-Fi support, wireless firmware, the installer application, and additional keyboard layouts. Only select these if you know you'll need them, example, on a laptop with Wi-Fi. As you can see, the installation has completed successfully in less than a minute. Thanks to its incredibly small size, the installation is fast and lightweight, even on older hardware. All that's left to do now is reboot the system and boot into your newly installed Tiny Core Linux desktop. Since I am running Tiny Core on VMware, let me install the VMware tools to improve the experience. This is Tiny Core's built-in application manager. Simply type VMware or any other application you want into the search box, and you'll see the VMware tools package appear in the results. You might notice that every application ends with the .tcz extension. These are Tiny Core extension files, which are Tiny Core's package format. Instead of permanently installing software like most Linux distributions, Tiny Core stores applications as compressed extensions. This keeps the operating system incredibly small and modular. When you install a .tcz extension, Tiny Core loads it into the system only when it's needed. This approach saves disk space, reduces memory usage, and lets you build a system that contains only the software you actually use. It's one of the main reasons Tiny Core can remain so lightweight while still offering thousands of applications through its repository. Before installing any extension, you'll notice a drop-down menu with three options: on boot, on demand, and download plus load. On boot is the option I recommend for, say, VMware tools. It downloads the extension and automatically loads it every time Tiny Core starts. This is ideal for software you'll use regularly, such as VMware tools, web browsers, or network drivers. On demand downloads the extension but only loads it when you launch the application. This helps keep memory usage low and is a great choice for programs you don't use very often. Use on demand for large, heavy, or occasionally used programs. Example, Firefox, LibreOffice, GIMP. Tiny Core runs entirely in your computer's RAM. Loading a massive program at boot means that application permanently eats up your available memory, even if you never open it. Finally, download plus load downloads the extension and loads it immediately for the current session only. It won't automatically load after a reboot unless you later add it to on boot. Since VMware Tools needs to be available every time the virtual machine starts, we'll leave the option set to on boot and click Go to begin the installation. But installing VMware Tools from the App Store sometimes does not work, so I prefer installing from the command line. Let us install a web browser like Firefox. If you're using Tiny Core Linux to revive an old PC for web browsing, aim for a machine from at least 2008, not 2002, and so on. Even though Tiny Core itself is incredibly lightweight and runs on almost anything, the modern web is not. Modern browsers like Firefox require a CPU feature called SSE2 just to open, which 90s or early 2000 computers physically don't have. Plus, today's websites are heavy and demand way more RAM than a 2002 PC can handle. Moving up to a 2008 era computer gives you the right processor features and enough RAM to actually open Firefox and browse the web smoothly. On older hardware, lightweight browsers like Dillo and Palemoon are your best options. They handle simple websites and blogs just fine, but I cannot get YouTube to work, which is understandable considering how demanding modern websites have become. TinyCore also has a built-in backup and restore tool. This is especially useful if you're running TinyCore in live mode from a USB drive or CD instead of installing it to a hard drive. Since TinyCore loads into RAM, any changes you make would normally disappear after a reboot. The backup tool lets you save your settings, installed extensions, and personal files to your USB drive. The next time you boot TinyCore, you can restore that backup in just a few seconds so you don't have to reinstall all your applications or reconfigure your system every time. Even after installing TinyCore to a hard drive, the backup tool is still useful. It gives you a quick way to restore your system if something goes wrong or if you move TinyCore to another computer. So, who is TinyCore Linux actually for? Well, it really depends on what you're trying to do. If you're looking for an operating system that works straight out of the box with a modern desktop, an office suite, and all the apps you need already installed, TinyCore probably isn't the right choice. There are much better options for that, like Ubuntu, Fedora, or Linux Mint. TinyCore is aimed at a different kind of user. If you've got an old desktop or laptop that's been sitting in storage for years, maybe something from the late 90s or early 2000s, TinyCore can give it a second life. It's also a great choice for computers with very little RAM, lightweight server projects, embedded systems, or even anyone who enjoys building a Linux system from the ground up. What I like most about TinyCore is that it makes you look at old hardware differently. A computer that most people would throw away because it's too old can still become useful for web browsing, basic tasks, learning Linux, or running a small server. Instead of ending up as electronic waste, that old machine can become functional again with an operating system that's specifically designed to do more with less. That covers the basics of installing and getting started with TinyCore Linux. Of course, TinyCore has many more features than we could cover in a single video. If you'd like to dive deeper into advanced topics like persistence, backup and restore, boot codes, remastering, and system customization, be sure to check out the official TinyCore Linux documentation. It's an excellent resource for learning everything this tiny but powerful operating system has to offer. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like it, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss our latest videos on Linux, open source software, self-hosting, and technology. Thanks for watching, and as always, I'll see you in the next one.